This is where Renate Christensen originally comes from, and where she'd have liked to stay. She was born in Kirchberg. After years abroad, she returned to Romania to settle here. But ever since she began campaigning against corruption and abuse of power in the local council, her life has become increasingly difficult.
When you come back, you can see that the same old practices are still going on. They mustn't be tolerated, but it makes it hard to find your place here and to be accepted.
Christensen is fighting for property that once belonged to ethnic Germans like her. For centuries, the region was home to a community of Transylvanian Saxons. Under communist dictator Nicolae Ceausescu, they suffered harassment and discrimination. Tens of thousands of them emigrated to Germany, or their freedom was bought by the West German government. Many were dispossessed. Today, many of these ethnic Germans want their property back, including farmer Bernd Wagner. He came back here after the fall of the Iron Curtain 25 years ago. Wagner takes us to his parents' home in Helkiu. It was seized by the communists, he explains, and given to an army officer. He's been fighting a legal battle for it to be returned to his family for years.
When we emigrated, we were forced to sign a declaration of renunciation. If we hadn't, they would have refused to let us go.
Back in Kirchberg. According to Christensen, after the collapse of communism, corrupt politicians allegedly commandeered around 60 properties. She found protocols of a local council meeting in 2001 that prove it. It was decided at the gathering that these houses would become state property. The decision was supposedly based on a law.
It doesn't add up, because the decision was made in 2001, but the law only came into effect in 2002 and 2003.
Sure enough, the compulsory expropriations were only set by law in 2002, a year after they happened. We asked the former mayor to explain the inconsistency.
I can't remember exactly, but it's all wrong. It's a village dispute. The papers are all in order.
The protocols show that associates of his took possession of a number of houses in Kirchberg. Others have remained state property. We ask the current mayor what he makes of it.
It's all a myth. I don't know anything about it. I've never heard of these 60 houses.
Typical, says lawyer BOGDAN. Many local mayors deny these wheelings and dealings ever went on. He represents ethnic Germans with property claims in Transylvania.
Lots of villages have mayors with, shall we say, entrepreneurial spirit. They seized these properties and lined their pockets. I found out that the local council in Kirchberg even faked documents. That's how these houses were transferred to the state and then sold off cheap.
Renate Christensen has decided to leave once again. She and her husband had originally planned to farm land here. Their machinery is now just rusting away.
We had wanted to build a life here and commit to the region. It's a terrible shame that we have to give it all up.
According to a traditional song, Transylvania is a land full of gold and wine. Renate Christensen had a different experience, and she's not the only one.